Imagine this. A group of children reveal their dark and mysterious powers when the adults aren't looking. I am today's host, Nathan, and I'll be explaining 2021's The Innocents. It begins with a close-up shot of little Ida's face. She is asleep, but then she opens her eyes slightly to the sunlight. We see that she is in a car. Her sister, Anna, is seated beside her in the back seat. Anna suffers from autism, and Ida, who is younger, pinches her on the thighs to see if she will react. Anna doesn't and continues making meaningless noises. The family is moving, and when they get to their new apartment, Ida goes outside to explore. She deliberately steps on a worm. She soon meets with Ben, and they go into the woods because Ben wants to show her something special. Apparently, he can move small objects with his mind. Ida soon gets back home and finds some broken glass by the door. She sneaks these pieces of glass into Anna's shoes. Next, we are introduced to Aisha, who has a skin color condition. She is playing with a doll when she is drawn to noise. She finds her single mother crying out of view.
Mama.
Aisha goes on to put her shoes on but feels some broken glass inside. In other words, she feels what Anna feels without being there. She goes out of the relative safety of her building and heads outside. Eventually, she is drawn to Anna's door, and on either side of the knob, they can telepathically sense each other. Ida takes Anna outside on the advice of their parents. Ben meets up with them, and they go on to play, leaving Anna by the swing. Aisha then joins Anna, and they hit it off like they've always been friends. Ben finds a cat, and with Ida, they try to drop it from the top of the stairway. Ben then takes Ida to the basement as they try to determine if the cat survived the fall. They find it alive, and Ben proceeds to forcefully break its neck. The next day, Anna shows signs of being excited to go outdoors. It probably has something to do with Aisha being the only one who gets her. At the playground, it turns out Anna has powers too. She can affect solid objects despite her autism. Ida then discovers that by combining their powers, they are stronger together. For instance, Ben can move larger objects when this happens, unlike before. Just as Anna only exhibits powers when she is around Aisha. They all head for the stairs and try to figure out if they can still hear each other even when apart. They whisper words in each other's ears and are surprised that they inwardly hear it. Calls on the cell phone and asks that Ida bring Anna back home for dinner. In some other instances, they can sense each other to the point where Anna draws a fish. We also see that Ben is having some trouble at home with his mom.
Kan du svare?
That night, while they sleep, they can still sense each other and seem to be in each other's dreams. They are soon back at the park the following morning to continue their superpowers adventure. Aisha runs a little into the surrounding woods to see if they can all still sense each other telepathically. Ida whispers something derogatory about Ben in Anna's ears, and they all hear it, including Ben. They all laugh out loud. But Ben is offended and rushes down to hurt Aisha, but Anna has sense enough to get in his way. There is even a force field being generated around her as she stands her ground. Next thing you know, a tree trunk snaps into two. A splinter punctures Anna's thigh. Also, with Aisha's encouragement, Anna says one or two words. Back at home, Ida has to lie about the incident by saying Anna fell. Their mother doesn't believe her. Ida tries to prove her point by asking Anna to speak like she did when they were in the woods. Anna disappoints, thus digging Ida into more trouble with their mom. In the next instance of the kids being interconnected, Ben tries to hurt his mother. He makes the pot of water boil a little bit hotter just as Anna plays with a pot lid in her own house. Meanwhile, when Ben's mother touches it accidentally, it burns her. Ben laughs at her, and when she tries to correct him, he throws a pan at her head with his mind. Aisha is in her apartment and sees her mother bleeding from her forehead. This is a vision and doesn't necessarily mean Aisha's mother is bleeding. In other words, Ben's mother has been knocked out. Ben proceeds to do even more damage. From where he is sitting, he moves the pot of hot water and pours it over his mother's legs as she lays there. Aisha feels this too. Later on, Ben tries to administer some first aid but isn't doing it right. Soon enough, his mother wakes up and is in great pain. She asks Ben to call someone for help. Anna is being chaperoned at the park by her mother. Soon, she notices Aisha and Anna conversing. Again, it's a miracle to Anna's mother, and she's just now finding out. She starts to sob silently. That evening, she tries to show Anna's development to her husband. Anna doesn't disappoint, except that it's Aisha who is speaking through her. Another aspect of Ben's powers exhibits itself. While his mother is still sprawled out on the kitchen floor, he summons a neighbor to exact revenge on a bully. This older man is just hypnotized and goes outside to the footbridge. He meets up with this so-called bully and smashes his head with a rock. The next day, Ben shows this same power to Ida, and she thinks it's cool. Actually, he makes her mount an abandoned fridge against her will. He also breaks a stick with his mind. And it would seem his powers are increasing in strength. They then go to where some other kids are playing soccer. Ben wants to test his abilities from a distance on one of them. At first, Ben acknowledges that they are moving too fast and he can't easily single out or pinpoint one of them. Then he gets a lock on one of the boys and crack. Ben successfully breaks his leg telepathically. It's a compound fracture. You can tell it hurts. Aisha and Anna sense him too. Aisha goes outside to confront him. But Ben starts to strangle her with his mind. But then, Anna appears after sneaking out of the house unsupervised. Apparently, she has sensed that her friend Aisha is in trouble. Ben sees Anna coming and runs away. He gets to his house and starts to cry angrily. Aisha is bent on stopping him and tries to communicate with Anna. That night, Ben starts to control Aisha's mother. So she starts to hallucinate that a beast is inside their apartment. She closes Aisha's room shut and picks up a kitchen knife to defend herself and her daughter if need be. She slowly approaches the grunting sounds of the alleged monster. When she suddenly turns back, Aisha is standing in the corridor. But all her mother sees due to the hallucination is a little girl monster. Aisha's mother then blindly stabs her own daughter in the back. When she comes back to her senses, she sees that Aisha is bleeding out. Anna also senses the tragedy and runs out of her apartment. Her parents run after her and try to restrain her. It's truly sad, but not for Ben, the evil one. The next day, Ida and Anna with her father are at a shrine in memory of Aisha. Ida asks her father if he'd ever hurt them like Aisha. He reassures her, but a random man rushes them as they go inside. Ida's father closes the entrance door just in time. The man looks desperate, and your guess is as good as mine. Ben is in control of yet another person to do his bidding of snuffing out his perceived enemies. This time around, he is after Ida and Anna. The next day, Ida devises a plan. She takes some money from her parents' wallets and gets permission to go outdoors. But first, she turns to hug her mother as if it's their last hug ever. Next, we see her buzzing the bell at Ben's building. She then produces a toy plane and invites Ben to play with it. She leads him to the same footbridge from earlier and urges him to try out throwing it. Ben climbs on the ledge, and Ida readies herself to push him over. Just then, a passerby sees them and tries to caution them, but Ida does precisely what she brought Ben there to do. Too bad he lands on the grass below and is not smashed by oncoming traffic instead. Ida runs away, but Ben has just enough strength in him to make Ida hallucinate. He controls her till she gets in the middle of the road. A car almost hits her, but she escapes with her life. Ida wakes up in the hospital, and her mother is by her side. She tries to find out why Ida did what she did, but Ida is afraid to come clean. She is soon discharged from the hospital and arrives at her building with a cast on her leg. She is able to walk with the help of crutches. While indoors, she goes over to the high window and spots Ben, the young serial killer, a distance away, eyeing their apartment. Then Ida notices that Anna has suddenly become alert. Just then, her mother picks up a kitchen knife. Ida has the foresight to run into the closet and lock herself in. But then, her mother says she wants to run an errand and instructs Ida to look after Anna. By the time Ida gets back into the parlor, Anna is gone. Ida follows and tries to use the elevator but decides to take the stairs instead. So right then, she breaks her cast and rushes outside to catch up with Anna. Anna, on her part, is having a duel with Ben across the pond. It's a battle of powers, and when Ida joins forces with Anna, their power is doubled. Add to that the fact that Anna, in all her autistic glory, can ethically control the essence of other kids. By the way, it's the holidays, and there are more kids and parents playing in the park than is usual. So this free energy is what Anna taps into to snuff Ben for all his misdeeds finally. Everyone just keeps on playing around him, oblivious of his demise on the playground swing. Ida and Anna both get back indoors. Anna continues to scribble on her slate, and Ida just sits there observing her. Then their mother gets back from her errand, and Ida rushes over to hug her as she cries. It's touching, but Anna just sits there like nothing happened. Nothing to fear though, because she was only a child with special powers. The end. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos from Imagine This, and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.